but I am back today with a new video. I don't know why I'm filming from this angle. I don't know if I like it, but we're gonna go with it. Today we are starting a very exciting video for me because it involves all of my closest friends. My 3 best friends have picked a book each that they want me to read for this vlog, and I will be reading them with you guys and telling you my opinion on them. I do believe they've all picked books that are kind of up there, being their favourites or part of a favourite series, things like that. So they're, you know, books that they really like. The first friend whose book we will be reading is Roxy, and I will put her picture and YouTube name as well here because she also does videos here. Definitely go and check them out, they are incredible. But we will be reading her book first. I've decided I'm gonna like read their book, then show you the next person. I'm not going to show you all of them, so I'm only going to talk about Roxy's pick right now. But Roxy has picked Red Rising for me to read today in this video, and I am honestly so excited to pick this one up. I'm honestly picking this one up first just because I think I'm the most enthusiastic. Well, I don't want to say the most enthusiastic. I think I'm just the most like apprehensive to read this one. Like, I'm just so intrigued to finally finish this book. So a little bit of lore. I actually started this book many years ago. Honestly, I want to say maybe like 4 years ago, and then I just never finished it. I got roughly to like about 150 pages in. I got like really far, and when I told Roxy how far in I got, she was like, how the hell did you stop after like the information that you found out? So, you know, and she has now read the first 3 books in this series and she loves them. She thinks they're just really good books. So it was kind of a no-brainer when she picked this one for me. I kind of knew that this was coming when I approached with the video idea and was like, can you pick me a book? I just knew that this one was going to be picked. So I'm going to be starting this book today, and we will be annotating this one. Just because I feel like I'm gonna like the book. I think I'm gonna enjoy the series. I think it's gonna be a series that I want to annotate, so I am going to. My copy is a bit beat up. I don't know if you can see, but this corner is it was literally folded completely over, sat there like that for maybe 2 months, and I didn't realize. And then down the middle there's like a fold. I actually don't like, can you see that? I don't know what I was doing with this book, but honestly, she's kind of rough, beaten up. The pages are super yellow because I've had this book for years. I mean, if it shows you how long I've had it, the book was $8.99 when I bought it. This book doesn't cost that anymore. It costs more than that now. But yeah, this is book 1, and I am so excited to read this one. And yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. Also, I'm kind of like matching with the fit today because I have on like these red shorts, the red shirt, the red book. I'm kind of matching the vibes. But I'm gonna sit and read some of this, hopefully about 100 pages today, and I can come back with my initial, I guess, reread thoughts, because those first 100 pages will be a reread, but once we're at the end of the book, it will be fresh and new, and I won't know anything about it. So let's go and start the first book of the vlog. First update of the vlog. Where's the book? And I am on chapter 22, which is page 163. I'm also, ignore the state of this book. I'm pretty far in, and guys, it's like phenomenal. I had no doubts that it would be, like I knew it was going to be phenomenal. So much has happened, and wait, well, you kind of find out a lot from the synopsis, so I actually think I can talk about quite a lot. So you open and you're with Darrow, and he's a red, and he's been led to believe that he has been like working with like loads of generations of his family to make Mars habitable for the rest of the colors from like Earth to live on Mars, right? And then something happens, him and his wife are taken and punished for this thing that happens, and then something happens. It basically blah 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 blah. It's really sad. It's like so sad. I nearly cried. And I honestly though, I love an author who's not afraid to do something like crazy in the first like 50 pages of a book, and you're like, there's no way that just happened. And then you read the rest of the book and you're like, oh my god, this is like the craziest book. And that's kind of what this one is. But basically, after this really crazy thing happens, Darrow learns that everything he has been told is a lie, and other colors have actually been living on Mars for 300 years. 300 years. Like, it's actually insane. Like, everything they are working towards is a big fat lie. And yeah, you know, generations and generations and generations of people have been living on Mars already this whole time. And then he actually learns that there's like two kind of races within his color red. You have low reds and high reds, and yeah, you just learn that they honestly have just been treated awful, and they've just been fed this lie their whole lives, and it's so sad. So he kind of works with these other people to, you know, try and make a change, try and, you know, change this oppressive systematic regime that they live within. And he basically physically transforms himself into a gold and infiltrates their like really prestigious school, and he tries, and he's gonna, I mean, I don't know. Now at this point I'm kind of like, that's kind of where I'm at, but I imagine he's gonna try and, you know, be top of the class, infiltrate his way into like super important things and kind of take them down from the inside. And I just know it's gonna be insane and it's gonna be incredible. But where I'm at right now, we are in the school. He's kind of going through these different trials within the school. We're in the middle of a war game at the moment, and honestly, I love a war game in a school setting. They're usually so interesting, and it really like shows you on a small scale what can happen externally on a big scale, if that makes sense. Like, I think it tends to just really show you things that you need to know about the world. Like, you can kind of see how it would unravel, and then I feel like as you get later on into the series, you kind of see these war games as like an actual war. I feel like that's how it tends to go, and that's why I love seeing the war games, because I think it just gives you such a solid insight to the rest of like the world within this book, if that makes sense. But yeah, currently I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the narrative, like the prose. It's great. I feel like every character is extremely complex and multifaceted, which is always what you want. Honestly, the more like well versed I get within my reading, the more I just love a morally grey, like ambiguous character that you just, it's just like a real human, you know, and goes through the ebbs and flows of emotions, and how those emotions dictate actions, and how not every action is the correct one, you know. It's just so interesting. But yeah, thus far I am loving this. I'm giving Roxy all of my updates as I move through the book, but I'm gonna sit here and read a whole bunch more right now, hopefully, because that's all I want to do right now is just read this book. Like, I'm so in it. I'm so in it. I'm also, I think, kind of past or just about to pass where I initially got up to, so the rest of the book for me is going to be brand new information that I do not know. So I'm going to sit here and read some of this and hopefully get like a pretty decent way in, and then I will obviously come back with more updates. But so far, so amazing. We are going to do a We are gonna do a lightning round update because I have 12% on my battery and my other 2 batteries are dead. Donya's making me feel uncomfortable. Donya really likes, like, when I'm doing clips, she wants me to, like, to be able to see me and me not be on mute, and I muted but she can see me, and she was making weird faces at me, so I've turned her around. But Red Rising, this book, you guys, is so incredible. I think I was only on page 50 or something when I last spoke to you. I'm now on page 210, which is like just over halfway through this book. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I think like just everything it's trying to portray and speak about is just really like resonating with me. I don't know, and I'm like getting it. And the portrayal of golds is just so interesting. Oh no, I have spoken to you since then because I was speaking about the war games. So also Winifred's having an early lunch, an early dinner, but we're still in the war games, and the way that these golds are acting with their fellow golds is so interesting because they are the elite class, right? They want everyone to treat them well and to respect them and revere them and honestly fear them. They want to be like the top of the top of the top, and they are. However, the way misogyny is still so deeply intertwined with the golds and honestly just like how they live and breathe, it is just riddled with the misogyny, and the way that these gold men are treating these gold women is crazy. And it's just like, you know, you can have this elite class and you can have these people basically be at the top of the food chain, but their women still aren't up there with them, and their women are still less than them, even though they are of this same elite ruling class. They are still less than, and it's just, obviously it's horrific. It's also just so interesting to read about, and it's obviously also very interesting because we are from Darrow's perspective, who is an outsider to all of this. He's not a gold. He is not familiar with this and the way it works, and just kind of his perception of it has also been really interesting to read. But also just the way already he is falling so, I guess because he isn't a gold, he doesn't want to make himself stand out. The point is to kind of go unsuspecting throughout them so that he can tear them down from the inside. However, he is already so subservient to them, and he is already turning a blind eye, and he's like, oh, even though I'm not, like, he's like, yeah, but I'm not the one doing the bad things. And the girls are like, exactly. It's like, or like, he's not the one doing the bad things, but he's not stopping them either. And they're like, exactly, like, you're not stopping anything, so you're almost just as bad because you're letting them do these things. I don't know. It's just such an interesting read, and honestly I feel like my brain is just whirring and working when I am reading this book. It is incredible. I am thoroughly enjoying my time with this book. Thank you, Roxy, for forcing me to finally pick this book back up and read it, because why did I not finish it the first time? Why didn't I finish it? Who knows, but yes. We are gonna go and read more, and honestly probably the next time I speak to you I will have finished it. And I can't wait. You guys are gonna see sooner than me, but I can't wait to know my final thoughts on this one. I'm just ecstatic about this book, honestly. I have the rest of the series as well, so you best believe throughout this year I will be getting through these books because incredible. everyone, good afternoon. We are back. I am having such a lazy day today. I've just been chilling and reading, and I did do a little bit of editing actually. I'm trying to be productive in the creative sense, but I really haven't done much. It's super rainy out there if you can hear like the cars going past. They're so loud because the ground is obviously wet. But I have a whole bunch of updates to give, or I don't know. I have a lot to say. So let's just get into it. We have officially finished the first book of the vlog, which is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. You guys. Roxy cooked a little bit with this one, making me finally finish this book. I'm so glad she picked this one. This was such a strong book to start the vlog out on as well. I settled on a 4.25 for this one. This book was really good, and I don't really have any major issues with it. I just know there's currently 4 other books out in this series, and I just know that there's so much to come that I don't want to go straight in with a 5-star and then all the books be like even better, you know, because like if we're at 5-star, like that's the top of the limit. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I know that this is a good book. It could have been a 5-star if it were like, I don't know, like a standalone, I guess. It wouldn't have worked as a standalone, but you know what I mean. But yes, that's why I gave it a 4.25, because I just know in the rest of the series there's more craziness to come, and it's just gonna get even better. So I don't want to hit the top of the threshold with the first book, but we have finished it. That being said, another reason why I did give it 4.25 stars is because during these war games that I keep mentioning, they were separated into like different houses. And see, I'm not even too sure, because I was honestly a little bit baffled by that part. Like, I just could not wrap my head around who, like, so you have the golds, right? And they have their real names. And then we go into these war games and everyone adopts new names. A lot of the people adopt new names, such as, and I'm not going to say who's who, obviously, but you have, like, the Reaper, Mustang, you have, Jekyll, I think. Like, you have all these different people, and I could not wrap my head around who was who. With Mustang and Jekyll, you weren't meant to know until the end, but like just other people, like I was just really baffled. And it was like House Aries and House Mars and House blah de blah de blah, and I was like House Minerva and House Diana, and I was like, you guys. I was like, you know what, you've lost me a little bit here. I was still, I was moving with it. I was like, I kind of get it. I can work out what's going on. But just for that confusion, I also don't think it could quite get a 5-star. Even though it was definitely worthy, I just personally was confused. I was like, I don't know, who are these people? Who are these people? I don't know. I was lost. That being said, Darrow's story throughout this book is just so interesting. I feel like it's one of those books. I feel like I kept saying the same thing when I was reading The Hunger Games. I think when you read a good, true dystopian, the word interesting is just what, explains everything. Like, yeah, it's just interesting. Because it's just, you can see, and especially because this dystopian world does speak about Earth, and it does speak about like the Greeks and the Romans and everything like that. It's not like the Hunger Games where we are on Earth, but we're pretending it's like this alternate thing, like Panem, Like, no, this is real Earth. They're talking about real things that we know. They're talking about the greats, they're talking about Homer and the Iliad and everything like that. So you can just see how greatly it reflects our modern society, but it's also kind of a mind trip to think that these guys are like hundreds of years in the future from where I am now. But they're also still so, like, the war games felt so primitive, and it was so interesting to just read these people who are living on different planets and who have like, what's the word I'm looking for? Colonized, I guess. I don't think colonized was the word I was looking for, but colonized works. But does it work? Because there wasn't people there to begin with. Not that I'm aware of. I don't know. They're on these different planets, and they live there, and they have these like spacesuits and anti-grav stuff and all this crazy space stuff, and yet they can still fall back into the primitive ways that are present hundreds of years before me, which is almost like 1,000 years before them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so interesting how primitive those games, it felt like games. The war games, yeah, the games. I'm actually losing my marbles. It's just interesting how primitive they became. Anyway, full stop, we'll put that full stop there. I love how a certain character is just like haunting the narrative, and they're always kind of being mentioned and reflected upon, and it's crazy. I don't know. And just how young they are. I do believe he goes from the ages of 16 to 18 through the events of this novel, but even 18 is 3 years younger than I am. And it just feels so young. You know, like they started at 16, which is 5 years younger than me, and then we went 4-3. You know what I mean? And it's just like kind of a mind trip, because I'm like, these are like war games that are reflecting like stuff that happens. I don't know. It was just one of those books that gets your brain thinking. I feel like that's all I have to say on it now. I also think we were in the war games for like most of this, like a lot of this book, and I'm intrigued for the next books because it's just going to expand out greater and bigger than that, and it's just everything's going to surmount to so much more, and it's just going to be incredible. I can already tell. But yeah, so this is book 1 finished. I have been messaging Roxy with my updates throughout, but I can't wait to hop on a FaceTime with her at some point. Actually, she's going on holiday at the end of this week, so at some point in time, within the next couple of weeks, hopefully I can get on a FaceTime with her and we can discuss this book in great detail, because it was just very brief, like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening kind of messages. So we'll definitely delve into this more. However, it is now time that we move on and we start our second book. And the second book was picked by, again, one of my best friends, Donya. Put picture. Donya doesn't have any like public social media that I can share with you guys, so this is just her, and she has picked, again, one of her favourite books, or it's like her favourite series. I don't think this book specifically was her favourite in the series, but she loves this book and we love this author. And actually Roxy just read this book and the second book and has started the third book all within like the last week, so I have very high hopes because she has been loving it. And that is This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Murphy. And obviously Tahara Murphy wrote the Shatter Me series, which we all know and love, and I have heard that in terms of like writing style and stuff, this is 10 times better. So I am just so excited to get into this one. I didn't quite realise how big it is. 490-ish pages, so it's quite long, but that's okay. I'm hoping to get through this in just a few days because I think it's going to be really easy to fly through. And I just can't wait. I just know it's like a Middle Eastern inspired fantasy. Yeah, that's actually kind of all I know. So we'll leave that there. You guys know me, and I will keep you updated with my thoughts throughout. But yes, this is the second book of the vlog, and I cannot wait to get into this one. So. So, I'm back with an update. Win, stay there. Stay. Okay. I am back with an update, finally. I have been reading this book now for 2 days, but I just haven't had a good opportunity to give you, like, a substantial update. But I'm gonna give one. Bless you. I'm gonna give one now. So, yeah, I have made a whole bunch of progress with This Woven Kingdom. I'm sorry, guys. I'm actually on chapter 24, which is page 267. So I'd say I'm over halfway through now. And I have been really enjoying this. It's interesting, like when I was talking about it with Donya before I started it, we were talking about how like this author is obviously really good. We love the Shatter Me series all of my friends have enjoyed this series, but I feel like she says a lot and like not a lot happens. Like I was maybe 110 pages in and I was on FaceTime with Donya and I was like, I've read this much and I feel like one thing has happened that's like substantial. I don't know, I feel like she gives us a lot of like description on like weather or feelings or like location. I feel like she gives us a lot on that, and that's why like not a lot of actiony things happen in comparison to like the amount of pages you've actually read, if that makes any sense. Like I'm 200 whatever it was 267 pages in, and I feel like we've only just kind of gotten to uncover like the substantial plot of this book, which is fine. Like I don't mind that, that's not really a problem for me, but it does just mean it's maybe like a little bit of a slower paced book, which means it can be like a little bit harder to fully like fall into and adore because there's not like too much to go off of. But with that being said, I am really enjoying it. I already don't like Cameron. I'm not vibing with him. And I think that's how I'm supposed to feel in the long run, according to my friends who have read it as well. This has never happened. I have like a friendship group of 5 where we all read, and I'm the only one who hasn't read it. So I've kind of been updating everyone at the same time as like just updating Donya. But yeah, according to everyone, you know, there's someone else that I'm gonna end up liking more. Where I just finished, there was like a little bit of a plot twist that confused me, so I'm excited to get back into it throughout today. I am working today, but of course, if you guys remember, I read a whole bunch throughout my breaks and stuff, so that will be fine. But yeah, I don't know how much I can really like... Oh, it does say that she's the heir to the Jinn Kingdom, so that's been fun, that's been intriguing. I'm intrigued to figure out kind of what that entails and what sort of magic is going to come along with that. I think that's going to be super fun to figure out. I cannot wait. And how that's then going to tie into Cameron, who is the crown prince of like the current only kingdom that's like active, I guess, like a human kingdom or a clay kingdom as they call them. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of enjoying it. I feel like I don't have too many thoughts because like I said, I feel like not that much has happened. I don't know, but I'm excited, I'm intrigued. I'm gonna read more of it today. I'm hopefully gonna finish it up today or early tomorrow. That's kind of my plan with this one. So I'm gonna read some more on my way into work, and then yeah, throughout the day I will be repeatedly picking this up. Because of like the fact that I've been reading it at work, there isn't much b-roll for this book. I'm sorry about that, but just know I am reading it and I am enjoying it. So I will come back probably when I've finished it, to be honest, unless something crazy happens and I feel the need to update you before the end. But I'll be back at some point with an update. I am finally back with an update. It's been like days, you guys, since I have spoken to you, and honestly I don't really know why. I think I kept like getting ready and then going out and forgetting to talk to you guys. Like I definitely meant to talk to you guys more, so that's my bad. But we are here with some updates because I have been reading. So we did end up finishing this Woven Kingdom, and I settled on a 3.75 star for Donya's pick of this book, and I really enjoyed it. I know, wait, I'm gonna move back a bit. I know I gave it 3.575 stars, however I really enjoyed this one. I just know like she has more to give me, and me and Donya keep talking about this book obviously, and we keep saying she's just such a waffler. Like genuinely, she just waffles, and I love her for it. That's like, I don't know, her thing. Like Tahara Murphy just waffles, but she does waffle. So I feel like not that much actually happened in this book, but I'm very intrigued by it. I think I know. So from what we can deduce, the Harumafi kind of has a pattern of introducing a love interest in the first book, whom is not the final love interest. And I believe I know who this potential final. By the way, there's 3 books out. There's going to be 5 that we know of so far. So we don't really know, but who I presume is going to be like the final love interest. I think I know who it's going to be, and I'm excited. He made me feel a lot more than Cameron did. So there's that. But it was just very interesting. It felt like classic fantasy to me a bit as well. Just like the old classic YA fantasy books that I just feel like a lot of us started with and, you know, kind of grew up in a sense with. I don't know, it feels weird to say I grew up with some of these books, but looking back, I definitely did, because I think I was around 15 when I started reading, and I'm now 21, so I do feel as though some growing has happened there, and it just, yeah, it was reminiscent of those sorts of books that I read more when I was like 15, 16, 17, and that was really nice. Like, even though this isn't a nostalgic book for me, it had that nostalgic element to it, which made me really, really enjoy it as well. The magic system is super cool. I love like a Middle Eastern inspired fantasy. It's always, I don't know, I feel like so many fantasy isn't that, so it's really refreshing to have all of the magic systems and stuff be based on a different, like, I don't want to say folklore, but you know what I mean, like, just, you know, the magic system being based off of deep rooted stories and truths from people from different cultures. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense, but it's just really refreshing. And yeah, this was just so much fun. I do own the next 2 books. I don't think you can see them, they're over here, but I will be getting to those hopefully sooner rather than later, because this was so much fun. But we now get to move on to the 3rd and final book of this video, which I have already started, but you guys don't know what it is. So this is Anissa's pick. I'll put their handle and picture here, and they have picked for us Iron Widow. This is we've actually had like quite a mix, I feel like, of different types of fantasy or sci-fi books, because this one is heavily based, I believe, on like Chinese culture and folklore and history and things like that, and it's been super interesting so far. So I have actually started this one, so I can tell you guys what the book is and I can give you my initial thoughts, because I believe, I'm just waking her up, yeah, I'm 20% of the way through this book. And let me just say, should we be 100% honest right now? I read the synopsis of this book with Donya on FaceTime, and I was like, what the hell is this book? Because I was expecting like, yeah, like Asian fantasy, and then it started talking about like pilots in the blurb, and I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what the hell is this book gonna be? And I was very skeptical. I should have known to trust Anissa, because we actually do have very similar reading tastes, and I don't know why I was worried, because this book is really good, you guys, honestly. Like, I'm only 20% of the way in, so obviously it can really go like any way. However, I'm really enjoying it. It's been very interesting. You kind of have, I don't even know how to explain it. You have these like warriors, and they channel their inner ki, like QI, which is their like inner like power stores, I believe, and they use that to control these like automatons. I don't know, that's what I'm visualizing in my head, like these big things, and they're based off of different like beings. So the one I have seen thus far is a nine-tailed fox, which is very prevalent in I feel like my brain has forgotten a word. Mythology? Is that the word I've been forgetting? I don't know. But it's very prevalent in like East Asian mythology, and yeah, your ki also determines obviously how powerful you are, and it's only men that power these things. I'm gonna put the word for them here because I don't remember it. And they power these things, but they have to have a concubine to like channel through or something. Honestly, guys, it's like a little bit confusing. It's one of those things, like, as I'm reading it, I'm like, yeah, I get this. And then when I like step back, I'm like, I couldn't tell you anything about it though. Like, I really couldn't. But I am like getting it. Yeah, I am. And that's kind of where we're at. And our main character, whose name I don't know, she is becoming the concubine, I think, for this guy whom her sister was also the concubine for. Am I saying that right? And he killed her. So her intentions are to become that same role for him, and then she's gonna kill him. That's her intentions. So that's like where I'm at currently so far in the story. Like I said, I'm 20% through. I believe this book is around 400 pages. I'm actually going out today, so I probably won't buy it. I'm happy reading it on my Kindle. However, I will like pick it up and have a look at it because I don't really know how long the book is, and I just want to look at like the formatting of it and stuff, you know? I just want to see how she looks. But that's all I know about the book thus far. But that is our third and final book. I'm gonna be hopefully reading a whole bunch of this tomorrow because, not tomorrow, today, because tomorrow I am working, and then this video has to be up on Wednesday, so, which is the day after tomorrow because it is Monday today. So there we are. That is where we are at. I'm gonna hopefully read a whole bunch of this today. I need to charge my Kindle. Okay, I need to go so that I can charge this a sufficient amount before I go out. But that is Anissa's pick. Thank you, Anissa, for picking this book. Thank you, Donya, for picking This Woven Kingdom. And let's just, yeah, I'm gonna go and I will give you more updates once I have read more of this book. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm reading this ending. I have 30 pages left. Couldn't tell you what's happening. I'm so confused. I feel like something's happening. I don't understand it. I'm like reading it and I'm like, okay. Don't know what this means. Don't know what's happening. Like, I'm actually so confused. Anyway. I realised I didn't really give you like a midway check with this book. I don't think. Did I? I don't remember. I've been enjoying it. However, when the action starts to pick up, I think I begin to realise that I did not have a full comprehension of, like, I guess the magic system and the way it works within this story with the key and the, like, things that they get into and the consorts and stuff. Like, it, like, makes sense until I see it in action and I'm like, I don't understand how this works. So that's that. But I have been enjoying it. I feel like I thought we were gonna, I don't know, I feel like maybe I was expecting just a bit more from it. I don't really know how to explain that. I'm definitely enjoying it, but so far it's not like my absolute favourite thing. I think I can appreciate it for its cool concept. And I think, like, when I think back on it, I feel like I enjoy it more than when I'm, like, actively reading it. Because when I'm actively reading it, I'm just confused. I don't know. But I thought I'd do a little impromptu update right here before we go into the end of the video in just a moment for you guys. But yeah, I literally am on 92% of this book. And we're going to be finishing her up. Sorry, that was so wobbly. I can't get good stabilization. But I do really love the main character. I think her dedication to her morals and how she feels, and also her viewpoint on gender and sexuality, is very refreshing for a YA book. I think the romance that's being hinted at, but honestly I was expecting it to be explored more, but what's being hinted at is again very refreshing for a YA. I can't think of a single YA book who has a relationship dynamic like this one. So that's been really incredible. I've enjoyed that. And yeah, her viewpoint on gender and everything, and her trying to push the boundaries of a woman's role within this world is very nice. And I have been very much enjoying that aspect of it. But, like, I don't know. Wait, hold on. I wasn't going to do, like, a huge update. But let's talk about it. That's been super fun. I've also been enjoying breaking down, you know, the preconceived perception of Shimin, I think it is. That's been fun. And then, but like at one point there's this other character and his like father came into the story, and the characterization of his father was like interesting and not what I was expecting at all. There was a scene with her family later on in the book that also confused me. We have to bear in mind, I read a majority of this book during my work breaks, in which I am in obviously like a staff floor with like probably 100 other people. Probably. I feel like it could be around like 50 to 100 people at any given time. So it's not like the most peaceful, serene reading circumstances. So I always, you know, when I am reading a book primarily outside of the home, I do give it the benefit of the doubt that I may just be missing some things due to the nature of my environment when I'm reading. And I do think that is slightly what happened with this one. It's fine when you're in like the build-up parts, but then when you do get to this action, if you miss even a little bit, it can be really confusing. And sometimes I think I would think I'd read a part and then I'd like turn the page when maybe I hadn't read it, if that makes sense. But overall, I have really been enjoying it. I'm already trying to think on a rating for this one. And I'm not too sure, but I don't know yet. I don't know, but I don't know, it's very unique. I know that there's a sequel coming after many years, so that's cool. Oh yeah, I'm guessing it might come up in the next book, but there was kind of like a big reveal on how like a component of this like chrysalis, how do you say it? Chrysalis, something like that, like works. And I was kind of expecting that to go further. We haven't really seen the repercussions of that reveal just yet, and I'm wondering if the author is saving that for the next book, and we kind of have to like defeat an enemy at the end of this one, and then in the next book it's going to come up, because I don't know how it's going to come up in the final like 25 pages to have like enough of an impact, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's a few things where like I'm going in with the knowledge that I know there's another book coming. However, I'm also like, obviously because this is Anissa's pick, and I know I was there when she received this book. I believe I was there. I think I was there when she received this book from our school librarian in 6th form about 3 to 4 years ago. And she read it like 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm just thinking like their reading experience would have been reading it back then, because the sequel still isn't out. I'm pretty sure. Shall I fact check myself with that? So that's also just been in the back of my mind. Like I feel like when I've been reading these books, I've been trying to embody whose pick it was, and I can really see how this book resonates a lot with Anissa, and I can understand why it's one of their favourite books, and they've been wanting me to read it. And I do think it was a good recommendation from them, because it's definitely up my street. I think I'm just getting confused with it, and that's my fault. That is my fault. Oh, the next book is out, but it only came out in December. So, like, 6 months ago. So, it came out Christmas Eve, which is a very unique publishing date, I feel like. I don't know why you would pick that day. That's interesting. First book came out 4 years ago. And then the last book came out last year. So there was like 3 years in between that. I don't know. That's typically like a long time in between books. So I'm just trying to imagine, Anissa's viewpoint of reading this and not knowing like when the next book was going to come out. That's what I'm saying here, because I feel like there's some loose ends that haven't been tied up, and I'm just like wondering what they were thinking at that moment. But I digress. This is a lot longer of a clip than I was planning. So I'm going to go and finish this book, and then for you guys in literally just a second, we will head into the outro for this vlog. We are back, like I said I would be. It's later on in the day, and actually as I've sat down to film this, I've realised I actually haven't marked Iron Widow as finished or reviewed it anywhere, like with a rating. So this might be like an on-the-spot impromptu thinking up a rating, but I think I have an idea. Anyway, we are here to wrap up the vlog because I have finally finished all 3 books that my best friends picked for me. So we're just going to go back through in chronological order. I'll give you my final. If you hear something in the background, it's the washing machine. I hope it's not too distracting. But yeah, I'm just going to give you guys my final wrap-up thoughts, and then we can end off the video. So, the first book that we finished in this vlog was Red Rising by Pierce Brown, and we all know I loved this one. I can't wait to get on to the next book, probably next month, maybe. I loved this. I have since seen my favourite YouTuber, actually, say that Darrow was like an awful main character and had no personality, and I honestly didn't really think in that way while I was reading it, but it was interesting to get that alternate perspective, because I really enjoyed his like perspective, his narration. I thought it was interesting how we saw, you know, his brain, I guess, when he was a red, and then we saw how he progressed when he became a gold, and I think that progression and that like distinction was really important, and I think we needed someone like Darrow so that we could have a martyr like Io to haunt the narrative and to haunt this whole book, and she's always popping up, and you know, he's constantly reminded that this is what he's doing it for. He's doing this for her dream, so that her dream can be a reality for other people. And I don't know, I just thought he was the perfect person to do that, but I can also see how people felt like he was giving nothing the whole book, but like, yeah, I can see that. In terms of like the prose, I thought it was really lovely. I thought there was some really amazing quotes throughout this book as well that I definitely annotated. There goes the washing machine. But yeah, the only thing, and I said this earlier, I read this like over a week ago for me, so I'm kind of forgetting what I said, but I do remember saying the war games got a little bit confusing, and that is why I gave this book this. I don't remember. I want to say a 4.25. I feel like that resonates with me, but it may have been higher, it may have been a 4, it may have been a 4.5, I don't know. I feel like it was a 4.25. I've put it somewhere. That's why I rated it that. And yeah, I did just really enjoy this one, and I can't wait to get to the rest of them. Yeah, that was Roxy's pick for me, and I've already said it a couple times throughout this video. I'm so glad she picked that one for me. And then we have Donya's pick, which was This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Murphy, and I also really enjoyed this one. I know that I gave this one a 3.75 because Miss Girl loves to waffle, and like not too much happened. However, if I move the strawberry, you can see I have the other 2 books, and I will be reading them soon, because like ultimately this was a really fun book. I did really enjoy it. The ending went crazy, and you know when it's like this book was good, but the way the next, like, the book ended, if the next book isn't crazy, I'll be shocked, because like that ending went crazy. But I do always what? I do always enjoy Tahara Murphy's just writing. I feel like it's just so easy to read and it's so quick. And this book literally took me like a few days to get through. It was so easy, even though it wasn't like the smallest book. But I just really like this one. And yeah, I already said, but it gave me just like those classic fantasy vibes that I feel like I haven't felt in a while. So it was really nice to get that feeling from this book. And then finally, Wynn's having a midday snack. Oh, it's Bets. Betsy is having a midday snack. Then we read Iron Widow. This was a really good book. I think I'm also going to settle on a 3.75 like I did for This Woven Kingdom. I can see the potential for the next book. I can see where it's going to go. I do think the main character was like a cool ass character. However, I got a bit confused. User error. That was my bad. But it did just mean, yeah, that ending wasn't like completely comprehensible to me, because I was literally like, what the hell is going on? But I gave you all of my thoughts really in that last clip that you guys would have just seen, so I don't really want to say the same things over again. But all of those, you know, thoughts that I had before I finished the book still stand. I don't think it was a negative ending. I don't think it impacted my reading experience in a bad way. It was a good ending in terms of it had the right level of like oomph, and it was entertaining. It wasn't like a positive ending. Something happened that I wasn't expecting. However, it seems like it could be like rectifiable. I don't know. So that was really interesting. But yeah, I did just enjoy this one. I did, and I will read the second one, I think, just maybe not like, I don't know, maybe near the end of the year. I'll pick up the next book, because I do want to see how this story continues, how it rounds out. I want to be able to talk to Anissa about it, because of course this was Anissa's pick. And yeah, but that was the final book that we read for this vlog, and this was so much fun. I really enjoyed getting to read my friends' books, favorite books, or a book within their favorite series, because context, I think Donya gave This Woven Kingdom like 3 stars, but she loves the series, so that's why I read that one. That's why she picked it for me. But yeah, I had so much fun with this video. I loved it. I would love to do it again, maybe in like a year or so, because obviously we all read like a fairly decent amount, to the point where I feel like we're always just getting new and different favorite books. So I would love to do this again one day. But yeah, I just had so much fun. I hope my friends watching, because they do watch my videos, I hope you enjoyed watching me read your favorite books. And everyone else, I hope you enjoyed the video in general. Please like and subscribe and do all of those fun things, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!